The Joker is a disease of which there is no known cure but death. But the only person that can kill him cannot kill him, and that is Batman. And because of this stalemate, we as readers are forced on a sort of Sisyphean journey that neither the Batman nor the Joker, nor Johnny Frost, nor we as readers seem to want to be on, but we have to because we are subject to this cycle. But to understand the journey, we must first understand the absurd. The absurd is the gap between our search for meaning in life, we as humans, and the absolute lack of meaning in life. Between those two forms is the absurd. And there are two schools of thought that sort of tackle the absurd. First, we have the existentialists. Think of Jean-Paul Sartre, who believe that we must find meaning in the meaningless. And then the counterpart is Albert Camus, who believe that there is no meaning and we must reject any pursuit for meaning. They are called the absurdists. And Albert Camus links our pursuit for meaning to that of Sisyphus. He believes that in the same way that we reach for meaning, that is the same way that Sisyphus reaches for the peak of the pinnacle of the mountain as he pushes the boulder along. He believes that both these tasks are futile, and we must therefore embrace the futility of it as he believes or as he imagines Sisyphus has. And in that same vein, we must therefore imagine Joker to be happy as Albert Camus imagines Sisyphus to be happy. And what does that mean? Both these people have been damned to a meaningless existence. For the first person, he has been damned by the gods, that is Sisyphus. But for the second person, that is Joker, he has been damned by Batman. The only difference is that according to Albert Camus, Sisyphus has embraced the futility of his actions. But the Joker, according to Azzarello, has not yet been enlightened by absurdism. He is still trying to find meaning in his pseudo-immortal life. And how do I know this? The Joker tells us a story. He talks about this particular man who has a singular goal, and the goal is to drive around the world in one day using a car. But as he starts his journey and it comes to an end, having failed, he sits at the side of a road waiting for a Samaritan to come by. And eventually somebody does come by and he kills that person. He stuffs them in his car and he burns his car. Then he takes their car and he drives to the gas station and he fills up the tank and starts that journey all over again, believing that the fault was in his own car. And so he gets a new car each time he fails. He never once questioned the meaninglessness of that ordeal. He never once questioned the absurdity or the impossibility. And the Joker admires that about him. And of course he would, because the Joker is him in that situation. The Joker does not understand that he has been subject to the same Sisyphean cycle as the man with the car and his aim. because throughout the entirety of this comic book run, the Joker continuously searches for a way to regain back what he has lost as he was in the Arkham Asylum. And regardless of how much trouble comes his way in his pursuit towards gaining back what he lost, he continues to fight against it. Each time he gets new properties, each time he gets part of his existence back, there's always somebody behind him to take it away from him. And instead of accepting that he is trapped in a cycle, he thinks of new excuses of why he has not gained what he has lost yet. He calls up the Penguin, he calls up Two-Face, he kills Tommy Bang Bang. But each time he gains something, there's always somebody behind him ready to take that away from him. But he just keeps blaming the car. He keeps blaming the fact that somebody else is responsible for what is impossible. And that is why I know that he is not aware of his entrapment in this Sisyphean cycle. But do you know who is sort of aware? That is Johnny Frost. Because multiple times over, he mentions how his hands are not his, and the Joker does things that he is not even aware that he is doing. He mentions that they have no choice in what they are doing. And a good example of that is when the Batman is drawing closer to the Joker towards the end of the comic book run. And Johnny Frost states two things. He states that his hands are no longer his own, and as he touches the wheel of the car to drive towards where Batman is, he says it is like his hands are no longer his own. And when they reach the destination of where Batman is, Johnny says it is as though the Joker opened the door, but it wasn't actually the Joker opening the door. And even the Joker starts to question. He says, "Johnny, do you feel it slipping away?" And he looks visibly distressed, as though there is something inevitable about to happen to him that he cannot control. And they get face to face with Batman, and a battle ensues between the Joker and Batman, as we've seen time and time again. And I'm sure that if we are able to see the perspective of Batman, he too is stuck but aware of the futility of the end battle that ensues as the comic draws to a close.